So I want to talk about usability in online research. I've seen some great research setups, things for surveys and online insight communities and diaries, but I've also seen some shockers, some terrible implementations which were about as exciting as reading a dictionary from A to Z, or requiring answers which was like writing your name down on paper 1,000 times. Now, I'm not saying that you have to entertain people, but you have to make it easy for research respondents and participants to complete and understand. The less time the participant spends trying to understand what you're asking, the more time they have in answering your questions. And of course, the better the result for you. So whether you're introducing a new survey or you're setting up guidelines for a 5-day online community, never assume that the participant who is taking part knows what you're talking about. Sometimes we get so involved in the project that we're creating that we communicate to the participant as if we're talking to one of our peers. So here's some basic guidelines to help improve the usability of any online or app-based research. So first of all, let's assume that the respondent or the research participant knows absolutely nothing. Act as if you're introducing the research method for the first time. It's their first survey, their first community discussion, their first diary. And use precise and plain language. And wherever you can, dot point. Preferably no greater than 3, but it will help frame your thinking and provide a clear and concise message to the participant. If you can use imagery to help get the message across, do that, but be careful. Don't use imagery because you think it looks good or it looks nice. Imagery has to have both context and purpose. And the last thing you want to do is influence the research results by using a nice image to reframe the participant's perception or frame of reference. So what I mean by that is you don't want to guide the participant to give you a particular answer based on the theme or the subject in the image, unless that's exactly what you're looking for. Let's say we were to introduce an insight community. We have people who would log in and discuss topics and ideas. And the first thing they would do is read a set of instructions that you provide in a welcome message. You need to introduce yourself. You need to make yourself real. So what I mean by that is that in today's artificial intelligence world, there's a growing perception that behind a comment or text-based chat, there's actually a robot and not a human being. As this becomes more of the norm, people will need to remind others that they're real. You really want them to know that there is a human being sitting behind a keyboard. Not only does this make the research more personable, but it ensures that the participants you engage with stay involved in the subject and they stay on track. You need to set up the ground rules. Make it clear to the participants exactly what you expect from them, how you expect them to behave, and the level of interaction between each other. What is acceptable? What is not? How much time you expect them to spend on it? If there are rewards or incentives for people who participate, you need to specify upfront exactly what you need from them to earn that incentive or that reward. What do you expect? And what do you need for the outcome that you're looking for? When creating your topics or questions, remember that people will be reading an iPad or laptop or PC, and in the digital format, we tend to read less. So keep your topic subjects short. Don't introduce too many concepts or ideas or questions at one time. It's far better to split up topics into smaller question segments than it is to push everything together and expect them to be answered clearly and concisely. Make sure it's easy for your research participants to contact you if they need help. Can they send you a private message? Can they email you? Or can they send a text message? Take the time to check up with participants to make sure they know exactly what they need to do. With online discussions and online focus groups, it's advised that moderators put in the time to engage with people before they begin. Engagement will increase participation rates with any kind of discussion or online research project. The technology will only facilitate the process. It's up to you to make it work. Time is also another important consideration. not only for you, but for the participant. When you put together an online project, you really need to think about the length of time it will take to complete the project, such as a survey, diary, or online community. A general rule would be to add 20 to 30% extra time. This will allow those people who take a little longer to finish the project. And it's always a good idea to be honest and upfront with participants to let them know how much time is going to be required. When asking participants to complete something, such as a survey or a diary topic, anticipate the questions that they may ask. So I like to call this human error handling. So basically what I mean by that is that you can anticipate some of the issues or some of the challenges that may have or may arise and address them beforehand in the questions or the topics that you're asking. So let me illustrate with an example. If you have a topic with an online community, and in that topic you have a link to a survey, anticipate when they click on the link to the survey, it might open a new tab or take them to a different window or even to a different app, depending on how they're participating in the research. Ask yourself, what are the questions that may arise from the respondent in response to that? Maybe by clicking on the link, it opens a new window and they don't know how to go back to where they started from or back to the discussion. Don't assume they can or they know what they're doing just because you can. Anticipate the issue. In this example, at the end of the survey, you might put a link in there which allows them to go back to the discussion right from the beginning. It just makes it a little bit easier for them. And of course, it improves the participation. By incorporating usability concepts into your online research process, you will end up improving the whole quality of the project. And after all, that's what you want.